Good morning, fellow tracklers. Welcome to the Tackle Show, Diaspora edition. Karibuni sana. We are looking to have a great day and a wonderful discussion. But as usual, before we begin, let's go before God and have a word of prayer, and then we start our show. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for yet another beautiful morning as we come together as a people, as Kenyans. May you guide us in our discussion today. May it benefit all of us, and may it educate others who are participating, either watching online, in their various channels. May you continue to grow this organization and this station to reach more people and filter the accurate and important information to our people. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. All right, gentlemen, karibuni sana. Well, it's been a week so far. Hata wiki haijaisha bwana, tuko katikati almost end of the week, but it's been quite an eventful week, so to speak. So first of all, I will start by just giving everybody a chance to give their opening remarks. Where are we? What do you see so far? And one of the things I just want to throw in is, I just want to give you a chance today to pass a message to the now President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. What are you expecting from this government as a person in the diaspora? And we can go from there. So, Bwana Ombui, I want to start with you. Let me give you a moment to say something.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Rama. I am happy to be in this show today. This is a very, very meaningful and useful week in Kenyan history, as we ushered in a new president, a new government, and we've seen drastic changes that he has been enacting, some which are positive and some which are quite a little bit challenging to Kenyans, and this has brought up a heated debate on social media among Kenyans. So I would like to congratulate him since he's now the president of Kenya, and I wish him all the best and his team to move our country forward. But I'm a bit hesitant of the kind of moves or the kind of steps he's taking in making our country better. His intention might be making our country better. What I am surprised or I'm shocked is that it took a step to improve lives of about 6 people, the judges, and on the other hand, the lives of about 50 million Kenyans is at job, but as the petrol has increased in terms of the price, which negatively impacts other products and making the prices of also other products to go up. For instance, the KPLC has increased the price per token. So I wish he could have slowed down on this and figure out which better way to handle it before it makes such a negative impact or a negative image on his government being a very, very newborn baby government. So, but we pray for him as our president, because we always want the best for our country. And since he's the president in control, we will always wish him all the best. But at the same time, we will not sit back and watch. We will continue to keep his government on toes by looking at various areas that we need to criticize. We need to tell him this is what we feel you should do, so that he can also figure out from the Kenyans' opinions and make him also not to sleep on the job, to understand what Kenyans feel and what Kenyans want him to do. It's not about him doing what he thinks he needs to do for Kenyans. It's also about what he learns from Kenyans that they need him to do for them to improve their lives. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Bwana Ombui said, please listen to Kenyans and get their feedback while you are making decisions for the best of the country. Bwana Mbauni, karibu sana. Let me give you a chance to give your comments as we roll the show on. All right.
Santi.
Yes.
Niko job, so
I understand.
I'll be behind. Yeah.
Yes.
So yangu ni rahisi. First, kwanza tuseme about judges. It didn't have anything to do with the price of petrol and electricity.
Okay.
Yeah. So hiyo ni kitu IMF ilikuwa imesema like a day before.
Okay.
So what we can say is that I think kitu yenye alifanya kwanza nilifurahia ni venye ali request Uhuru afanye kazi na yeye. It means no permanent enemy in politics.
No.
Yeah, and I would also like to see him appointing those who are in Azimio and those who are performers in his government. Juu pia Azimio sio kusema ati juu alishindwa ati hawakuwa na brains. They equally had performers.
Yes.
So I would like to see such people being given some ministries to run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right. All right. Mr. President, Mr. Mbauni has said, give opportunities to all Kenyans, irrespective of their political affiliations. Let performers join your government and let them deliver to the Kenyan people. My ambassador, Sema Bwana. You are muted.
Chairman, namna gani?
Salama sana.
Yeah, thank you for this day, and thank you also for this opportunity that you've given us with Gerald to share our views here. I would mention that I'm a very happy man today because you know what I've been actually championing. The president actually did mention during his inaugural speech the issue on diaspora being given opportunities also and being given a department. I've seen also many people mention the county number 48. It will come to pass one day, but given if we will get a department or a CS or a director, we will be able to channel also most of our opinions, and we will be much better. Our views will be heard and things like that, and also our welfare will be more easier channeled to the government. I wish also to wish him the very best as he starts and kicks off the journey that we and the Lord has given him an opportunity to serve as President of the Republic. The citizens have given him this opportunity as well to guide them and serve them through. As we all know that leaders should be servants. It's them to guide us on what we meant to do. And for us as citizens as well, we ought to support them. We don't have to sit from far and look what our leaders are doing. We give our opinions, and we also welcome those who we have elected, including the president, also to welcome the views of the people and enact those which are very reasonable enough. Let us not sit and wait for them to give us every bit and everything that we want for our country. For our country to develop and continue is us all coming in together and putting in an effort in any way that we can. Many often, even pale nyumbani reserve, whatever you are doing should be something that is impactful, that will also be able to assist in the day-to-day running of the government and also developing our country. We also wish to tell those who are not in, many had opinions, many had their own views, but it is now time to run as a whole team. We won't be even sitting around and saying we are waiting to pick the wrongdoings of the government or the wrongdoings of those who are in power. Here and there, we will be able to give our views on what, might be of different to those who are in government or those, but that is the nature. We have also to have an oversight authority. Even if I was supporting Ruto or not, you have an opportunity also to share and say, look, this is not the right direction. We ought to do this. That is correct. That is okay. And I'm calling upon the Kenyans as well to embrace that we all have divergent views sometimes.
Yes.
And we should not also be yes. Someone told me, I remember my uncle once told me, if you are a man of the house, you should not always be a yes man. It's very dangerous. to be a yes man. Like wanasema turuke juu, unaruka, hujauliza hata how high or why, unaruka tu. You know, yes is a very dangerous thing. We want to also see where we are going. So I wish him the very best. We pray and we offer our support wherever we are, and on any way we can. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Bwana Ambassador. Key words from you is let's pull together as Kenyans, but let's also take our oversight role, no matter who you supported, seriously, and let's make sure that we hold everybody accountable. Two quick comments that I'm seeing online. The Spear of Nation. I'm going to translate your name. It says Omkonto Wezizwa, which means the Spear of the Nation. It says, we are tuned across the world. Let the speaker summarize their stuff, please. Okay, thank you so much. I hope everybody will continue summarizing. Doreen Chebet asks, I think this was directed to you, Bwana Ombui. She says, what would he have done differently according to you? The speaker we just left. That's her comment. So I see my buddy here, my brother, Bwana Kip, has joined us. Hey, Bwana. Okay. So welcome so much. Leo, inaonekana you're all white, but I know you're coming back. So for me, let me just give my few remarks, my observation or my request to the president. Mr. President, first of all, congratulations. I believe this is day 3 for you, or 2.5, so to speak, but technically it's day 3 for your administration. As we prepare to start unveiling your cabinet, my personal request to you, Mr. President, is if you are considering anybody that has a pending legal issue in the courts, please have them clear their pending legal issues first before you appoint them or nominate them to any cabinet post. To send a clear message you stated about justice and judiciary being independent, so that it doesn't seem that you are covering anybody from their wrongdoing or purported wrongdoings. Let them clear their issues first, and then they can always join. That's my personal request on my suggestion, recommendation to this administration, so that we have that difference in administration, saying that everybody has to be held accountable for what they have done or what they have been accused of done, and let's see the legal system working equally to all of us. That is my first request. Second request, Mr. President, also, as you make your decision, just remember Kenya is not an island. We are surrounded by our neighbors and also the entire world community. Let's make sure that we make decisions that actually make us a part of the community as a whole, but still retain our sovereignty and our independence as Kenyans. So we can still have our identity, but at the same time be at peace or be cohesive with the rest of the community, our main neighbors surrounding us, and the entire world in general. So those are my personal requests for the Mr. President, and I look forward to see your cabinet coming out and make us proud. That's what I would say. Bwana Kip, karibu sana.
Yes, how are you?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah. Pole, bado niko job, but all good.
That's
I can
okay.
talk.
Yeah, they need to see tunafanya kazi. We are hardworking Kenyans out here, so that's okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think mine is to congratulate the Kenyan people for peaceful election and peaceful transfer. I mean, the president acted up a bit, but at the moment, I mean, it's water under the bridge. It looks like the two have made up. Who are we to complain?
Yeah.
Now the hard part, the hard work begins, especially for Ruto and the promises he made. They're not easy. Yeah, it's going to be painful. So we need to buckle up and tighten up the seat belt and, go for a ride. So it's not going to be easy for everyone, not easy for President Ruto, especially in a country where everyone is suffering economically. It's going to be really, really hard to actually come back from the hole that the regime that just, departed put us into. But it's not all lost. I mean, Kenyan people are very hardworking people. And I know one thing that needs to happen, you and I and everyone here have been to these other countries. What actually makes a country succeed is the discipline of every citizen, especially those who are working in the government offices. We need to professionalize government offices. If I go to an office to apply for a permit, they should process without expecting anything from me. If that happens in Kenya, we will actually advance. Number two, we need to digitize a lot of services, especially licenses. There's no need of me going to somewhere to apply for driver's license. And especially, so vetting, they need also, there's a lot of things. Renewing driver's license, you need to pay. Because if you can actually drive, if you can own a car, actually even renewing the car tax, that's where you get the taxes. So there's a lot of taxes running around in Kenya. You just need to tax the rich. That's not the solution anyway to our problems. But at least something has to give, right? The other thing that needs to happen is, good thing the president is hands-on person. He's not just going to sit down in the office there. Believe you me, he's not going to sit down. You remember Nyayo used to roll up his sleeves and, help in construction of culverts and stuff like that.
Yes.
We'll be witnessing another president like that, hands-on president. And that's a good thing for Kenya. But he needs to rein on anything to do with corruption. That will be his downfall if he allows anyone to meddle with any of Kenya's taxes. So rein in corruption, make sure that there is really performance contract, especially for the civil servants. And it's not just, in terms of, just writing paper and signature. It has to be audited. There's also another thing that needs to happen. Make sure that the county governments are working. We've witnessed corruption actually devolved. If President Ruto needs a government or a country that succeeds, we have to deal with corruption that has been devolved. I think we need an organization that actually audits. It's no longer just the Auditor General that audits and then just publish and that's it. We need prosecution, especially if people are found culpable. You need to answer to any of those queries and not just in writing, even in court or parliament. People need to be sat down so they know this is a serious country that serves serious people, and that whenever you take public office, you are expected to deliver. Finally, I know a lot of us are going to be complaining soon that, we didn't get into government. Guess what? Application for PS is closing on 20th. I've applied. I'm challenging you guys to apply.
Oh, okay.
So Public Service Commission, you need to make an application for PS, whether you party or not. At least you have experiencing of applying. You get called, you go do an interview. Charaza award. Then if you fail, then you ask why. So I encourage every diasporan to please, if you have qualifications, apply. So instead of us complaining. Finally, sorry for taking a long time.
Okay.
Nomination of MCAs.
Yes.
Hey. We are in trouble.
Yes.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yes.
Why does it look like all those who are nominated look somehow the same?
Yep.
And they somehow work the same. They somehow are in the same WhatsApp group. Somehow age, everything else. I'm gonna save myself from trouble.
Okay.
From saying much, but I think it's about time Kenyan people ask the qualifications for nomination, the criteria, and not just accept just people who are nominated just because they were party loyalties. I think there are guidance to doing those things. For now, that will be a new complaint for me. Anything else, I encourage government to actually get down to work. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Bwana Kip. Thank you so much for your analysis. A good thing to know, Public Service Commission. So I believe that will be on the Public Service Commission's website. All right. That's a challenge. We are going to take it up. My diaspora people, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and put our expertise into work. Bwana Tanui, welcome. Let me give you a chance to give your remarks. What are your expectations? What statement are you going to give to the president as he starts formulating his cabinet and so forth?
Good evening and good afternoon, my fellow countrymen. It's been a long time since we've seen each other.
Kwanza wewe Bob unafaa kuchapa na boko bwana.
Najua nikukua kwa serikali na nisumbua kichwa.
Okay, sawa.
So I want to say thank you to all of you for affording us this opportunity to meet today and to first convey our congratulations to the President of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. And secondly, I also want to, the only thing we'll ask of him is to act in fairness and justice to prevail, and to ensure that whatever thing he has promised, we're not asking him for 100% delivery, but we are only asking him to do the best he can for our republic. I think it's too early to cast aspersions or to start throwing sand and stones about probably the fuel subsidies and stuff like that. I think it's we will give them time. We will give them time, and we will just try and manage our expectations, because I'm sure we will be disappointed at some point. We will be encouraged at some point, and all these are the facts and realities of any government that comes into place. The only thing I'm a bit pressed about discussing is the scuteness in which the nominations have been done for majorly the MCA list, and this is a problem across all parties, and it shows the parameters of nomination have changed from what the Constitution envisioned, and it has turned around to become something different that probably can't be explained in this platform. But we've been in this political game for a while, and sometimes you know what happens. Some people take advantage of others, and I don't want to become part of the masses that will throw stones and put across every other kind of allegation. But all I can say is that it's skewed. It is unfortunate that for an instance in my home county, that the county assembly is improperly constituted by the lack of a representative to the persons living with disabilities. I think it is high time we become a bit sensitive to that, because as we go forward, I'm certainly sure that if fairness and justice will be done from the party organs, then such things need to be corrected. But for the rest, I think I will not comment much about I think I don't want to comment much about what is going to happen, because let's wait and see. 100 days is enough time to tell us about how things will go on in government as we go forward. Siku njema huonekana asubuhi. The only thing I'm proud of is I think the president has begun on a good note by the appointment of the judges. It's a positive note showing that he's a man who can keep his word, and we're hoping as things go forward, giving the IG an opportunity to, giving the police the accounting officer, who is the IG, I think those are positive statements that we are seeing from the government. The only thing I'm assured is that I think Dr. William Ruto is, he knows what he wants. He has a legacy to start building from right now, and I'm sure, being the person we've seen in the previous years, I'm sure he's bound to deliver. The only thing I want to ask him for is, we want him to also look critically and move with speed in the integration of East Africa, making East Africa a federation. I think that is a positive note to the right direction.
Okay.
I think it is good to have a united Africa. It is good to have an Africa that we have free of movement, to realize the dreams of the free trade treaty and agreements that have been made, and also to realize the Maputo Accord, and also the beautiful things about climate change. I think many of us will start looking at William Ruto from the perspective of the Kenyan eye, but I would really, really want him to take the Gaddafi route, to take Mugabe route, talking about Africa, talking about great things that bring Africans together and to uplift the pride of we people as Africans. Yeah, I know some people will say why I gave those examples, but I gave those examples because those are the examples that have really stood and talked about Africa in depth. When you look at it objectively without having a Western eye on it or Western propaganda on it, then that tells you these are the leaders who always stood and spoke for Africa. And I hope Dr. Ruto will take the same direction and be the voice in bringing Africa together. Yeah, right. And it's good to be here and to follow up the conversation today.
Yes,
I'm so proud and happy.
All right, thank you so much, Bwana Bob. Karibu sana and welcome back. Usipotee.
Maze tulikuwa busy tunafanya.
I know.
Tulikuwa nafanya kazi behind the scenes.
Okay, thank you.
Simu ilikuwa busy na ina type memes na kusema haro na kutengeneza.
Yes, all right. Thank you so much. So real quick before I go to
platform, and thank you Gerard also for giving us this platform.
Yeah, all right. So before I go to Vincent real quick, I just want to read a few comments again. I see Bwana Maxwell is saying, let them do the opposition role in peace. That's what they know best. I'm not sure who is referring to. You may need to clarify or explain yourself because at the end of the day, we still have a responsibility to hold our government accountable. So I don't know what that's what you mean by opposition, but you'd explain that. Basi Maina says, what is the government going to do with the situation in Saudi Arabia? Bauni, I will let you answer that when I give you a chance. Steve O said, how can I sign up? I'm not sure what you mean by how can you sign up. Are you talking about the Public Service Commission issue? I'm not sure if you can add the comments, then we'll know what you mean, and then we can be able to address that. Bwana Vincent, nilikuona kidogo kwa picha alafu ukazima. Let me give you a chance. It's an opportunity as a diaspora person. What do you want to say to the new government that is now in? We can't say incoming anymore. They are in government now. What do you expect of the new president? What are you looking forward to? And what challenges do you want him to prioritize, so to speak? Let me give you a chance to give your comments. And then my friend Bwana Sanka tayari. Vincent, are you with us? All right. Bwana Sang, let me come to you and then I'll come back to Vincent when he gets back.
Okay. Good morning, good afternoon. Hi everyone, hope you're well. I think my voice today is not that audible, but I'll try much enough to speak and try from my end. So anyway, we thank God for giving us another opportunity to be here again. I think we were here last week. Yes. And it's such a wonderful day to see what's going on back at home, which we are all happy of. And going straight into the happenings of the week. And first we must allow the President Uhuru Kenyatta for what he promised us, that he will hand over the power when he's smiling. And that is exactly what he did.
Yes.
And we saw how the change of guard, was done in a planned manner, well executed. And we thank for that kind of issue, that environment, that we've exhibited to the world that we are people who abide by the rule of law, and we are a country led by the rule of law. And we are focused people in terms of what we need to work as an individual. So secondly, I would like to pass my condolence to, I think, the people of Baringo County for the passing on of their deputy governor. And it's a sad moment for that county, someone even who has not sat in the office, and something like that happens, but all that we live to God, because it's the giver of life, Coming into the issue about now the man who is the president of the Republic of Kenya on what he did, and we are happy. Actually, personally, I'm happy on what he talked about in his speech, which actually it touched several things pertaining the common life of the hustler, which he has been, propagating the hustler narrative. And going forward, what I would want to see in this government is how the best way he can be able to tackle the issue of corruption. And remember, going back to some days when Uhuru Kenyatta was telling us that our government is losing, is it 2 billion on a daily basis? So I would want to see how the Ruto presidency will tackle the issue of corruption, bearing in mind there are a lot of loopholes where money get lost in our country without being unaccounted for, or without people being caught up and taken to court, and how best we can be able to work on that and see those loopholes. Another thing that he really discussed and touched about it is about this issue of fuel subsidy. That he was saying that it costs us as a country around 280 billion in a year, which is something that when you go back to subsidy, you need to understand what is this thing called subsidy first. And according to how I understand subsidy, it's just a specific thing that government does within a shorter period of time to mitigate an issue, so that as the economy gets back to its way of taking shape. And going back to this issue of fuel subsidy, I think we cannot manage as a country, and that thing, I think I'm happy you talked about it. And when you really go deep into this fuel subsidy, you will find that this subsidy is what is these cartels in these ministries are getting, actually, in terms of being paid this money. And it doesn't actually help the common mananchi. So it's for a few people, and that is something that really needs, or even we can form a commission of inquiry about this thing and really try to understand what is this fuel subsidy and where is this money going to. So I think that's the thing that really is, those are loopholes that it is really affecting us as a country. And I'm looking forward to President William Ruto to seal those loopholes, so that at least we can be able to have money for development, because if we are losing 280 billion and then we are losing another 2 billion in corruption on a daily basis, that is a huge money in our country, and all this money is what we get from debt, so it's a big problem. Another thing is going forward, I'm trying to understand and to look how President William Ruto will manage the expectation of Kenyans based on we remember the plan, the Kenya Kwanza plan, and the goodies that he promised Kenyans. So I'm looking forward to how he can be able to manage, bearing in mind that the cost of living is soaring very high back in Kenya right now. So keeping in mind into that, I hope that in the next 100 days, which is the first or maybe a quarter of the year, we can be able to see really how much Kenya Kwanza has performed in terms of its manifesto, and which trajectory this the Kenya Kwanza governance is leading us to. Another thing that I'm happy about is, of course, the judges that were appointed, and he kept his word that he will appoint the judges that evening. And then the following day, which was it yesterday, these judges were sworn in. They're ready to serve Kenyans. I'm happy about that. And the issue that is raised, that it will add additional 3 billion to judiciary, which is a good way that we can be able to manage the backlog that is in judiciary right now back at home. Another thing is freeing this institution, which is a very critical role in terms of managing this institution to be independent, so that institutions can be able to discharge their mandate without being coerced, or without any interference from the office of the president. So going forward, those are the things that it really, caught my eye. And maybe what I can advise the president, if he's listening, if the best way he can be able to hire men and women of integrity,
Yes.
so that they can be able to deliver his own agenda, because that is the core important issue that we are looking at him as Kenyans. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Banasang. Thank you so much for your comments. So guys, I'm coming back again for another fresh round of discussion. We have a country. We are a nation of laws, so we believe. How do we get the county government, the national government, and the institutions that are supposed to offer the counter check vis-a-vis the county assemblies, the Senate, and the National Assembly, so that we move our country to the next level? Because I think you guys have realized as we speak that has been lacking, especially from the Senate, holding accountable the county governments. Based on some of the governors who have come into office and declaring quite a number of so-called ghost workers, or some people who are actually paid double. You're employed in a county, but you're working actually in a different city. You're not even in the same city. It's mind-boggling that actually these things happen, and these reports are actually sent to the Senate, and some of the Senate committees were actually visiting the counties. And then the question is, how come you never saw this? How come you didn't see this? So before I come to you, I see Doro today has joined us with a different name, but Doro, I always know that face any day. So let me give you a chance to give your comments, opening statements. So we are basically saying, hey, what do you want to tell the president as he starts his new term and forming his government? What are your expectations? What are you looking forward to? And what would you recommend to him? So that's where we started. Then I'll go to discussing about getting our county governments working together with the national government. Doro.
Hi guys, hope you're all okay.
Yes.
Sorry I'm late. Well, we have a president, day one. Hearing people make a lot of noise that gas has gone up. Yeah. Actually, I have a family member who called me and she had to fill up her car before midnight. And I'm like, well, Kwani, what's going on? Ati mafuta inaenda juu. So I don't know. I just want to tell Kenyans not to be in panic. Mm-hmm. Poor guy. This is his first day as president. He probably doesn't even know his way around the State House yet. So let's just give him a chance and see what's up. Let's give him a week and see what's up. Whether there's any explanation on what's going on. First day, he still even has guests. He's still trying to host. He has people, stubborn people like Museveni still probably around his hair. So just give him a minute so he can get rid of everybody who's around him for now and breathe out and process that he's president and see what he can do. That's all I can say for now.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doro. Thank you for your brief remarks. I appreciate that. All right, we have a challenge. How do we get our county governments, national governments to work for the better of the people?
Yeah, first let me comment on the petrol.
Yes.
I've heard many people trying to defend the president. Mm-hmm. I am pretty much against it. President Ruto has been in the government for so many years. He started being in government even before he reached 30 years old. Mm-hmm. He knows how to deal with issues in government. Okay. So there is no way we can come here and start saying that let us give him a chance when in his first day in office, I think his first day if I'm not wrong, he increases petrol, which he knows that is very, very important in the economy. The 288 billion that is trying to protect is not much like what Kenyans are going to lose. Like what Kenyans are going to lose in the cost of petrol. The hustlers that he was trying to to fight for. They are now feeling the pain. Especially now, the border guys, they're the hustlers. How many borders do we have? I'm not sure whether we could be having over even 6 million borders in Kenya. We have more than 2 million cars in Kenya. So if somebody is filling his tank 6 liters times 20 shillings times around 10 million liters a day, or I don't know how much money is that by December? How much should we have lost to petrol?
May I say something, my brother, before you make your point? What I said about giving this president a chance, this guy was inaugurated less than 36 hours ago. Honestly, you know my stand when it comes to Ruto and whoever I was supporting. You really know my stand. I don't think anybody in Kenya doesn't know where I belong. But again, right now, I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, what the heck? He is my president. He promised a lot of things. He said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 2 is not looking very good on day 1. I'm just being reasonable. I'm giving him a few days to see that number go down quick, or else I'll be here making noise. So I am not defending that at all, because when that gas goes high, it hits my pocket too.
You know,
I gotta pay for fuel in Kenya. It hits my pocket. So I'm okay. I could have been very, very biased and come here and make noise and say, oh, well, you see why we should have picked Baba. But then if I start talking like that, I will sound like Gachagua did a few days ago in front of visitors. So I'm just trying to be reasonable and give a few days to see what's gonna happen. That's all.
All right. If I may, I think Omui and our sister here, they actually are not being sincere. We all live in diaspora. You guys live in America, and I think my sister lives in somewhere. I think America or Middle East somewhere. Yeah. Look, even Australia here, we had a subsidy on gas when Corona happened, or recently. Just for the economy to recover and all that. It only lasted how many months? 3 months or 6 months. Kenyan economy cannot support subsidy. If you have a car, at least you know, at least people are actually, I know it will affect everyone, kerosene and all that, but let's not kid ourselves. We know for sure it's not sustainable. Number 2, we all know that money actually didn't go to the people. Or remember, the subsidy, the so-called subsidy, actually is not subsidy from, it was actually supposed, it was money cut from what we used to pay for petrol, right? But it was misused. So this money actually did not actually come down all to the people. It was subverted somewhere else. So trying to blame president just who came to the office the other day by being honest. You see, when someone is honest, you have to listen to them. They're being honest for once to the Kenyan people that, look, the monies that were subsidized actually did not come down. Where is the unga, by the way? Yeah, 100 shillings. Who knows where they were? Did anyone buy unga? So let's not kid each other and try to blame someone who just came to the office the other day because of political sake.
Have I sounded like I'm blaming him? Have I sounded like I'm blaming him?
I'm making a point. I'm not directing anyone. Making a point. Let's be honest. Let's tell the Kenyan people the truth that it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. That's actually the start. With recovery, with interest rates going up, with the dollar exchange rate going up, it's going to be terrible. Yes, definitely. Yeah.
All right.
Yes, you guys, the guys who are now defending Ruto, you are the same guys who were making noise about the subsidy that Uhuru was providing. Now you are turning around. Now you are defending a very wrong decision that is going to affect Kenyans negatively. So we cannot toss a coin when it favors us. What I am saying is that Ruto promised Kenyans that I will do this, that, and this, and this to improve your lives. You cannot come to the office the first day and you are making the same people you are promising goodies, their lives difficult. You know that petrol is a very, very pivotal product in Kenyans' lives. Why didn't he just hold on, even for a week, to try to figure out with these experts, how can we deal with this situation before we pass the burden to the citizens? Was that something difficult? You cannot make decisions with emotions. You cannot make decisions thinking that you are punishing some people who are against you during the campaigns. That is very wrong. He should have held on his horses, even for 1 or 2 weeks. Say, let's pay, let us subsidize for now. Let us not affect Kenyans in a very negative way. Let us figure out as a government, what can we do without affecting Kenyans? Even the government of the United States did subsidize. Yes, I agree. And other governments. At that moment, you are trying to protect the interests of Kenyans, not trying to save the taxes. You are trying to save the interests of Kenyans, trying to ease their lives. You're trying to caution Kenyans because life has become expensive. So another thing, Joel.
Yes.
You were asking about the national government and
the county government. How do we get these institutions to work together for the betterment of the people, vis-a-vis the people who are supposed to hold each other accountable? Because you have seen several reports on the news, Kisii County, West Pokot, I think that was Kiambu also, or Nairobi, some other counties that were reporting some astronomical crazy numbers of so-called ghost workers that people were being paid. And the question is, the Senate was there, which is supposed to oversight. The county assemblies were there, which are supposed to oversight. How did this thing get past them? And how do we go? Because that has already happened. But now for us to, because we are saying at the end of the day, the counties is where, counties are what is impacting Kenyans directly. But how do we get the counties to work? How do we get this devolution to actually work instead of essentially devolving corruption to the ground, so that we get them, so that the Kenyan people need to see how the government actually works, and the best way is to make sure that the county works the way it's supposed to. Once we get that working, then all these issues of national, then it becomes seamless. That's one of the things that, in other words, for us as Kenyans, how do we get even to hold our own county governments accountable and challenge our Senate to do their job in as far as their, I would say, supervisory roles on the county governments. That's where I was.
Okay, what I can say is that the national government has failed the county governments. You know what normally happens? Most of the time, the national government waits until towards the end of the budget year, like 3 months or 4 months. Even 2 months, then they release the funds to the county government. The county government has few months to prepare a budget and refund back the money to treasury that they have not used. So that becomes tricky. And I think it's kind of a choreographed game, so that the money the national government gives to the county governments, they refund the money back to the treasury, a huge amount of money. Number two, the only way the county governments are going to work is to fight corruption, is to ensure that those criminals are jailed, is to ensure that the county governors, the former county governors, those who are found to have committed corruption, which I know over 60% of the former governors, and even some of the current governors who are going second term, they have corruption allegations. if these people are taken to court and they are jailed and their money recovered, trust me, those who are coming, they are going to be very careful. Those ghost workers who are found to have colluded with some county officers to steal from county government, they should be prosecuted. The money that they have been paid, foolishly paid as salary, recovered, and them get jailed. That is the only way we are going to make it work. That is how we are going to protect, or that's how we are going to eliminate the 2 billion Kenyan shillings that is lost every day. We could not be crying about trying to save 288 billion on petrol subsidies when we know that 2 billion goes to individuals' pockets. So the only way, the first game, is to fight corruption. And how? By making sure that those culprits are prosecuted. The problem, the Senate is political. The Senate politically fights corruption. For instance, when Anna Waiguru was taken to the Senate after impeachment at Kirinyaga,
yes,
some of the ODM or NASA senators colluded with some of the Jubilee senators to protect her. Yet we know this woman has been corrupt since NYS. She went to Kirinyaga. The county's MCAs found her guilty. They impeached her. Then when the case went to the Senate, then the senators said, this is witch hunt. And they exonerated her. When she was exonerated, then she changed her game now, went back to Kenya Kwanza, because if at that time she was in Kenya Kwanza, she could have been persecuted. So it was a political game, for her to survive. So what we need to do as Kenyans is to make sure that our systems are working. The EACC, the DCI. It is very sad, my brother, if you remember, during Linturi, and another lady who was working in the Deputy President's office, how they colluded. This lady colluded with the Deputy President's office, the former Deputy President's office, to take Linturi to Naivasha, so that he does not take impeachment case of Anna Waiguru during the NYS to Parliament. So these are the issues which we should look at. Those are the criteria we should use to elect our leaders. These are the factors we need to consider when electing our leaders. What are their historical leadership? What have they been doing for Kenyans? Which evil games have they been playing to evade prosecution? Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Wanambui. All right. Mbauni, are you still with us? I know you are at work, so. All right. Bwana Akib, while waiting for Bauni to come back. County governments, national accountability. What's the way forward?
Well, I think we have enough laws. We've said that several times. As a country, we have more than enough. We are of a legislated country, if I may put it that way. But we have a problem with implementation. Look, how many reports have been produced by, so there are organizations that are NGOs that actually audit whatever happens at the county level.
Yes.
There are also organizations that are mandated by the law to audit these things. They produce volumes and volumes. Even if you Google now, oversighting county governments in Kenya, you will find a lot of legislations. But what happens is when someone is elected, they become a god unto themselves. Now, this is where the problem starts. During election, during nomination, campaigning, you use a lot of resources. You have to. I know of someone who's an MCA who spent 20 million Kenya shilling to be elected MCA.
Yeah.
MCA, uliona how many are they going to be earning? That was Japishwa the other day.
Yeah.
Those guys are going to be earning 200,000 at most. Wakifanya hii ukarabati yao itakuwa 250. Now, per year, that's 2.5 million, right? How many years they are in office? 5 years.
5 years.
So that's 7 million.
Yeah.
Someone has spent, 20 million. What are you telling me?
Yeah.
So now, this is where, so I can tell you for free, those ghost workers are known to the councillors or the so-called
MCS.
county assembly MCS, yes.
Yeah.
They are known to them. They are being sponsored by them in collusion with the governors. Remember, governors are being held hostages by the very same MCS. So it's give and take kind of relationship, yes. So I think the problem starts with elections. The more we make it expensive to run for political office, the more it's going to be expensive for us as the Kenyan people. It's going to be costly, and we need to stop that. This thing of asking for a bribe, it will cost you. And that's exactly what's happening at the moment, even as we start to work with the new government.
Yeah.
You've seen the people who are nominated and are appointed to the offices, especially MCS. It's not someone who has been bribed. It's someone who has money and connections and other things.
Yeah.
So really, we really have to stop this bribery game and start really working with the people who really want to serve. Now, how can the national government and the county government work together? I think our answer is the president has started on a good note, making independent institutions independent, not just by word, but by actions, by resources, making resources available for those independent. So, for example, police. I think when police stop taking phone calls and instructions from politicians, especially those in government offices, for them to start prosecuting, arresting, and taking people to court, that's the day the government, especially from up down, will work. Police officer cannot just get instructions from people to go and arrest. They know their duties. They swore to defend the constitution. They know their responsibilities. So once they start doing that, when there is leakages of reporting of corruption, remember in Kenyan laws, there is actually, you get a certain reward when you report as a whistleblower. I think it's 10% of the whatever the proceeds. So if you're a whistleblower of 10 million or 100 million or something and they recover, you would take 10%. We should encourage people to be whistleblowing, but that doesn't give you permission to, lie under oath, especially, we've seen how people lie in Kenya, especially during this petition.
Yes.
Even lawyers lie. It's so unfortunate. But I think it's about time we encourage people to report, we encourage people to protest, we encourage people to actually check what is being done in their counties. And like I said, it starts with the top. Police has to do their job independently. And I'm glad the president has started on that note. Judiciary has to actually be serious in prosecuting and dispensing with the cases that are pending. The more we put these people in jail as an example, then people are actually going to toe the line. So hopefully we get someone in jail soon who was involved in these corruptions.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Bwana Bob, coming to you. All right. Okay.
I know I'm here.
Okay.
I'm still following. Give somebody my chance and then I'll.
Okay.
I was doing something.
Okay. All right. That's okay.
I'm following.
Najua uko plantation, so we chapa kazi.
Yeah, but I'm here. I'm just following.
Okay, thank you. Bwana Ambassador Alfred.
Muted, eh?
Now you're on now.
Thank you, Chair. I think, the other panelists have said as is. Unfortunately, Arama, with the counties, it is easy to say that county governments is just a way of devolving corruption.
Mm-hmm.
With the county government, corruption was devolved to the common man. One thing is that the problem is, when you're doing all this, spending time with elections, there are people who support you. There are those who would bring in amounts of money and all this. And now once the election is done, it's now about who you are connected with and who is your connection. The local person there in the village who voted in an individual who was, best because of the so-called tags that they were using would not get justice.
Mm-hmm.
Those who gave money, those whom, I will tell you, many of these MCAs were elected not because of the connection they have in terms of what do we call what they can offer in terms of
leadership.
Yes.
Leadership. But of course, there are other issues that comes in Alfred's, and you will find that it is, it's unfortunate that these people are given opportunity, and many of these also are given just because many of these nominated people would go there because of they want people who would go and support the governor. They want people who they will say tuenda namna hii ni hiyo, hakuna kubadilisha, hakuna kuuliza. Another thing, Arama, is that the unfortunate part again, if you go by and if you follow up, I saw many people mentioning the guy from Kuziland who was going on the streets and saying, I'm gonna work from here. I want to find out who are these ghost workers. Same has been done in where I come from. But at the end of the day, those ghost workers are not prosecuted. Those ghost workers, you don't know who are them. Mm-hmm. Those ghost workers, you don't know what happens after them. You don't know if they will return the money. These people just do these things just because they want to be populist. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, you don't get the answer. You don't understand if these people are actually laid off or they're just left to continue with their duties. And if they're laid off, these people will bring their own people. Even if you go to the government, they will just replace these individuals. It is not that they will go get them off. They just try actually finding a space to replace these individuals. So it is unfortunate because at the end of the day, Arama, and I always say, it is me and you who would make these counties prosper.
Mm-hmm.
If I find a fault of my governor, and I'll bring it up. Someone, because the governor is associated with a party or is associated with an individual would actually sponsor people. I've seen businessmen sponsor people to attack me online, call me, and this is a real businessman. Kichwa yake iko timamu, anapatia vijana pesa kidogo huko village up, bando shilingi 500. Piga Alfred, anapiga governor. Ujinga tu ndogo. Unapiga Alfred, who drives a very nice car, who lives well, who is actually bringing issues that is affecting you in the village. Mm-hmm. You're being sponsored by 500 bob, and then the same businessman is giving out individuals who will be CCs. He's being given tenders to kutengeneza footpaths, kutengeneza barabara, and they will do
supply oxygen.
To supply oxygen yenye wewe mwenyewe una breathe kwa barabara. But when Alfred brings this issue up, unapiga Alfred unasema wewe umeenda huko Australia sijui unafanya nini, things that doesn't, at the end of the day we want to come out as residents of these areas and say, look, enough is enough. I saw that tag somewhere. Enough is enough. We want services. We want justice for all of us. We might not get elected. We might not get appointed to these positions. But when services reaches to the common mwananchi, that is what we want.
Yep.
Personally, I wouldn't even want to be appointed. But when I see that njia ile inapita hapo kwetu inafika vizuri, inafikisha everyone who lives in that area, we are getting water. Everyone's in our area is getting water. It is actually, that is the beauty about leadership. That is what makes me relax. But if someone brings in an issue, then wewe unakimbia juu chini, unanunua vijana, unaambia piga huyo. And the unfortunate thing again, and like Kipchumba said, these MCAs, my friend, they're as useless as nothing else. Because I remember last year, and I thank God the people of a section in Nandi took over one of these guys and elected even an independent candidate to replace him. There was an issue that was very contentious, that it needed the MCAs at that time and period. One guy was elected as the vice chair of the said committee that were looking into this issue. Today, the guy said, no, we want the governor to be removed. The next day, the guy came back and said, no. He changed his mind within 12 hours. And he was actually the chair of the same committee that was investigating the issue. So if such MCAs are whom we are depending on for oversight, my friend, it is unfortunate, very unfortunate. The senators are the same. These guys are being just like someone said it, these are political senators. They will just vote in because of how much they are being given. And that one I can say absolutely with no fear. Tell me a case that has been taken to the Senate and it has sailed through on issues corruption. Tell me a governor who has been impeached because of issues corruption, and yet there's nothing that has been done here.
Mm-hmm.
But they will cook figures, they will tell you stories, and that governor will remain in office until the reality kicks in, until we decide that it is time for us to change. But if not, then tuendelee tu kulalamika day in, day out. We will be on the fifth devolution government, and we will still complain about all this. I will tell you that today, Arama, unless we change as a common mwananchi. But tukitegemea hawa manominated MCAs au mnaweka huko waenda watusaidie, takufa njaa huko reserve bwana.
Yeah.
Asante.
Thank you so much, Bwana Alfred. Yeah, I think that's one of the things is, like we have said in this show before, election day is not the end of us holding our elected. That's when it's actually the beginning. You need to hold these people accountable. You need to ask the question. You need to push them and get them to do the right thing. Doro, let me give you a chance to give your comments on this relationship. County, national government, how do we get these systems working effectively? And how do we hold them accountable?
Today you're asking some complicated questions.
Yeah, we are in governance now. We are out of election mode. We are in governance now. So these questions have to be asked.
Some of us could be compromised. Some of us, this could be very, very sensitive topics to talk about.
Yeah.
But of course, there's nothing good about having ghost workers. Hiyo ni kunyanyasa wananchi.
Mm-hmm.
And it is sad. It's very, very, very sad. And there's one thing I hate. I'd rather unitukane. You'd rather just come here and call me names than insult my intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what these people, these county governments are doing to us. They think we're so foolish. And actually, for 10 years, Kenyans, we've been so foolish. Why am I accepting we've been foolish? Because none of us have stood up and really taken care of this BS. It is straight up BS. People are afraid of talking. They're afraid of being killed. They are being threatened with small things here, there, what. We have seen, so far we've seen one person. I've not seen another one, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen one person, and that is Simba Arati, the governor of Kisii County, get up and try to take care of this. And of course, he's getting a lot of threats from different places.
Mm-hmm.
And the same people in Kisii County that he's trying to help so that money can trickle down on them
They're the ones who are out there talking ill about him, telling him, sasa ukifanyia huyo hivyo, ata survive aje? No, ana survive kiaramu. There's somebody else who is not surviving because they don't have a chance. They don't have godfathers who got them to that position, or or somebody else is being paid in the air. There's a ghost worker somewhere that this other person is not gaining. So all I can tell people is shut up and get help. If your governor has chosen to be the straight person and help you, just shut up and support him. Don't fight him, so that the other governors can see an example from there and fix their counties. And that's the only way that the economy of Kenya will stand out. That is the only way. Even this is it bottom up or up bottom?
Yes,
What is Ruto's whatever?
Bottom up.
Man, I need to go and read Ruto's manifesto. I need to go and read everything because I was very biased. So I never looked at it. I need to bring myself up to speed so that this bottom-up economy can trickle around and everybody survives, you know? Other than that, muki mambo ya nye, we wacha kufanya hivi, una expose watu, unafanya nini? Stop and be helped. You've had 10 years that didn't work. 10 years of people suffering. 10 years of you guys just suffering from the pump. Munalipa mafuta mingi so that a rich man somewhere can survive. 10 years of just total BS. At this point, if you're in Kenya, I'm not in Kenya. I'm in another country which also has its own BS. Kwanza sisi, we suffer double trouble. Silent tulikuwa na Trump, we were suffering Trump and we were suffering. We're crying Baba, we are crying Trump from this side.
Yeah.
So as we're suffering double, but it's okay. We are living okay because we live in countries that have systems.
Yeah.
In Kenya, if somebody has stood up mwenye amesema anasimamia ukweli, support him. Ruto alisema vitu mingi sana jana, not deputy. I keep on calling him deputy. Dr. President Ruto aliongea mambo mingi sana, alipeana list refu sana. If this man decides to stand up and follow up and get Kenya on a straight line, are we going to support him? We have to.
Yes.
Because Kenya has not done so well in the last 50. How many years have we been independent? I don't remember. 50 something.
Almost 100.
No. Independent Kenya, no, it's not 100. It's 50 something. It's
50,
it's,
yeah.
it's less than Uhuru's age. So the thing is, if our president decides to get up and fix it, if our president decides to run Kenya Simbarati style, support him. Don't fight him. Because if you fight him, you just love being poor. You just want to live a life of poverty and stop complaining.
Okay.
So I don't understand Kenyans. When you're suffering, you make noise. When somebody steps up to help you, you make noise. What do you want? Shida ni nini? Hapo mimi sijaelewa mpaka wa leo.
Oh.
Yeah, sielewi na sijui.
All right. That's some tough love. That's some very tough love, but it has to be said. Bwana Sang, leta yako tusikie.
Yangu si mengi, but I want to go back to where people were discussing about gasoline before I come to county government. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm going back to that by comparing, what is in between the East African countries and trying to check how
somebody needs to mute their background somewhere.
Sorry, that's Sang's background. He is in an office, so.
Okay. Sorry. So what I'm saying is, going back to gasoline, I'm trying to compare the prices, the retail prices, in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and even Rwanda. And, the current prices reflect, they have the common denominator, and it almost retails the same. But going into it, why our price per liter of petrol is around now 179? You know, the fact is there are a lot of taxes in that fuel levied, and these are about 9 taxes. So for Ruto's government to work into this issue, and maybe to reduce the cost of gasoline, it's just to relook into these taxes. Work on which one can be removed completely. Without injuring what we collect overall as taxes within the country. And for it is one, it will take a lot of around 1 month or 2 months for government to reorganize how they can be able to collect these taxes by expanding the tax base. So what is to expand the tax base? Is actually to relook into the entire economy and see where they can be able to tax, you see? And that is the point is. So we should not cry here because of government wants to remove this subsidy, and we have to bear the cost for the next 3 months or 1 month or 2 months, so that at least we can be able to have we can be able to move into the right trajectory. I think that is the thing that we need to put in place. Now, coming into county government, that's a very, very important question about the county government versus the national government, how they can be able to work it out. And per se, Dr. Ruto has demonstrated by first freeing the institutions, making this institution independent. By one, he has demonstrated by appointing these judges in judiciary. Additionally, he has added them 3 billion in a year. Again, coming to National Police Service, he has decided, that National Police Service should be independent, and any other independent commissions and institutions. So that's the right trajectory towards this, and we need to make this county government independent government, that is independent local government. And by this is one, all the transfer functions that is enshrined in the constitution, it has to be transferred to national government. And remember, to county government. Yes, and remember, functions follow resources, follow functions, right? So the 350 or 370 billion that we need we normally send to county governments annually, we need now to add additional resources. That will become maybe around 700 billion if we can be able to transfer all these functions to county government, so that we can be able to disengage the crowded national government things that are not make sense, and these are the functions that can be done in the local government. You see, so coming into that, we need to benchmark on how best these county governments can be able to work independently, with scarce resources that the national governments, transfer to them at every year. And going back to, let me see what Governor, Professor Kibwana did when he was in Makueni County. And you can remember in Makueni County, there were projects that were there. And these projects were the Wanjiko-centric projects, whereby at ward level, the Wanjikus at the ward level comes up with the projects that they want to be done. And they make sure that participation is done from the ward level, even we can say from I don't know, village level, and then graduates to, locational level, and then now the ward level, So this is how Governor Kibwana managed to manage that county government, and he delivered his promises as the governor at that time. So I think that this is something that when county governments can be able to do a benchmark on this, they can be able at least to move far. And considering the fact that all county governments have its own unique resources, of which we need to tap into these resources once we have, once the money from the national government is there, we can be able to tap into these resources that is all over within the country, and be able to make these resources to be something meaningful that touches the lives of people. And if I sit back and see the hospital that was built by the Makueni government, as then, because I'm using this one as benchmark, they used around 135 billion, 135 million, 140 million. That is to build and fully equip that medical facility.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. when you compare to other counties building the same kind of a facility,
even less.
Yeah. So those are things that we need to see. And this county again came up with a mango plan that the residents within that county, take their mangoes there, and they can be able to value add and sell to the market. So these are things that county government needs to do. And coming into this, how we can be able to make the county government's most work is enhance something called participation and decision making to that level in the ground, so that people can be able to decide on what we want to be done, because a government is for the people,
Yes.
and the people are the one who has the final say when it comes to this issue. Finally, what I would need to do, because there is a lot of corruption in government, these county governments in terms of the cost workers, I think it is upon the president then to issue directives with to Auditor General, because that's the work of Auditor General, to do a commission that we need to audit all these county government, their payroll, A county government, you can imagine a county government, it has a huge payroll, and what is collected in that county government cannot even be able to manage to pay the service, the basic salaries of their employees. So as a county government, how can a county government has a huge payroll and yet you cannot manage to pay to collect even levies and license fee to pay your to facilitate your payroll? It's very wrong, and that is something that we need to check. As a Auditor General should come on board, work on that, and write those issues. Then we can be able, I think, to move forward. I think that's what I can be able to add on this. So
thank you. All right, Bernard Mwangi, how are you, sir? You're muted. Yes, there you go.
Hi, guys. Good morning. Thank you for the invitation and for the good. I've been listening to, what do you call it? People's contribution towards what expectations we have for this new government, and it's amazing. But what I want to say is, it's nice. Kenyans stand up for both candidates, and they gave their all for them. And now it's the time for the new president to turn up for the nation now, and at least work for the nation, not for his friends that we know. Even if they were in opposition, they are still friends. They have been playing that game since independence, and we know their game and how they align themselves to remain in power, so that nobody else from outside the circle comes in and takes over power. So as much as we are optimistic of this hustler, we should also not forget who or which circle he belongs to. No, it's just a podcast. So it's very important not to forget which circle he belongs to. So in case of anything, people are, like Gachagua was saying something like, in his speech, we hope to check this government from where Kibaki left. We know who Kibaki is. May his soul rest in peace. But we know which circle he belonged to, and why we are here today, or why we are where we are. It's because of the circle he belongs to. He tried his best because he had his vision and dreams, and he had the right people around him, like the Michukis and all that. But still, he had to give back to his circle. It's all about protecting the interest of the circle. So I'm optimistic they will do something, because Ruto is one of the luckiest people ever to come to power. He came to power at the right time when we have had our new constitution for 10 years. So at least everybody knows which direction this constitution is taking this nation. It has been tested. People have fought for it. And that's why people voted the way they voted, because there are those rights people now know protect Kenyans. And Ruto is lucky, he knows how the constitution should work. Another thing, the county governments. The governors, we are lucky that Raila is getting out of power. It's getting out of politics. So Ruto is not going to have the opposition that we expect, a strong opposition like what previous presidents have had. So that's another easy part, easy what his work has been reduced, and we hope he will work, and we hope he will be able to deliver as much, because he does not have strong opposition to struggle with through his 5 years tenure. Another thing is, from the reaction of the supporters of the losing side, the regions which historically in politics are known to be hostile to the, for example, someone like Uhuru had difficult to get access to some regions in the country because they were opposition, and they were even if they were opposition, they had a strong opposition leader behind it, that it was so difficult to penetrate those regions as a government without the blessing of this leader. But you can see Ruto has just announced that he's going to visit a region like Kisumu next in few days or something like that. And it's Jubilee, it's people are celebrating, people are happy, they are ready for him, they want to see him, they want to talk to him, they want to hear what he has for the region. But Uhuru did not have that easy access. He had to go miles and miles further and do a handshake for him to be able to take the government to the opposition regions. We saw it even in Mombasa. Mombasa was a strong opposition region, and Uhuru had to do what he had to do for him to access Mombasa. These are very strong economic regions in the country, and Uhuru struggled a lot for him to do anything in these regions. But Ruto is a lucky guy. He's going to have easy access to these regions from day one. And people are ready for him, and they are ready to work with him. Reason being, Raila is out of the game. One more thing I want to say is also, people should know one thing. The people celebrating Raila's exit to active politics are not Kenya Kwanza people. The people who are enjoying the exit of Raila, and they are hoping he will exit literally, are Azimio politicians. For example, their leaders, you can see someone like Babu Owino, for example. We know how shrewd he is from his days in the college and now. In his politics, we know. And if you are very keen, you can see what he's aiming for in the future future politics. Nyanza region, people are going to struggle to be the kingpins of this area. And Babu Owino, he's bare knuckle clear. You can see from day one, he he started hitting on Uhuru like, you lied, you conned us. These are coded messages, because he has to start making people believe that he knows something that people don't know, and it's high time for people to start following him in his region, so that he can lead the people as the opposition leader in future. That is when Raila exits, but he's preparing himself. And this thing about how the governors are like acting, the new governors are acting now, trying to clean up their counties and making the counties work. They're not doing it for the people. They know the ground is open. They know, even though Ruto is a very good politician, he's not as strong as the Uhurus, the Kibakis, the Railas, the Mois of this nation. Why? Because Ruto is a one-man army. He does not have that clout behind him to protect him and to push him. He only has the people. And once he loses, he blunders a little bit like where Uhuru blundered somehow and lose the faith of the people. He has nothing to clean on. So the governors will do as much as they could to impress the people, because they are preparing themselves for the national battles. The ground is open, and that's the nice thing about our politics at this moment, I think. Ruto, with the help of these people during this campaign, they came with very nice. They killed they put under the carpet the tribal card and brought issues card, and that's where he has set himself up for success or fail. It's a very tight rope to walk in, especially in a country, in a time when the whole world is struggling with the economic affairs, because you cannot convince people. Uhuru, even if he tried to say it, but he didn't have the right words to say it, that our economy is affected because of what is going on in the world. And we know that the whole world, you saw someone like Biden had to put his pride behind and shake hands with the Prince of Saudi Arabia. These are the things that people have to look at and to understand the effect of what is going on, the effect of the Russia, the whatever happenings in the world, how it's affecting our economies direct in individual in our own nations. But Uhuru tried to say it, and he said, we don't have maize because we don't have unga because of Ukraine. Do I live in Ukraine or? But he said it in a way that people are not happy about. He didn't have the right words to say it, but it's the truth.
Okay.
And that's what Ruto will struggle to explain to the hustler nation. Otherwise, I'm not 100% optimistic. Ruto will deliver because he has to protect his circle, but at the same time, he'll have to struggle to deliver for the nation.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, and also the last thing, we know he has to look for something that people will remember him for. That's another thing. Uhuru has nothing. Didn't have something that people can sit back and say, wow, this is what Uhuru did for this nation. But Kibaki, we know infrastructure. Moi, we know about education and all that. Kenyatta's father, we know about after independence and the father of nation, how he brought back. But Uhuru didn't have that. He was all over. He did everything. He was running everything up. No, but Ruto has to find something. Even if he has to check those for whatever development, whatever that Uhuru wanted to work on before handshake.
Yeah.
He has to find something that people will sit back and say, this is Ruto. This is what Ruto's tenure was all about.
Okay.
Otherwise, what I'm happy about is the people turned up for the candidates. The people, after the results were announced, the people turned up for the nation, like keeping peace and going back to work. People are ready to work. That's the only thing I'm happy about.
Thank you, Bwana. Thank you so much for your sentiment. So, guys, as we wrap up the show, I just have one question that I need you guys to respond to. Where does the diaspora group lie in this country? What is our position? What do we need to do to be heard, to be seen, to be effective? So that's my question for the day as a wrap up, so that we wrap up essentially more like a taco for the day, but essentially wrapping it out, because this is a diaspora show. At the end of the day, we need to say how are we going to impact our country? How are we going to make our country better? But how are we going to get people to listen to us and say, hey, these people have a point and they need to have a space to be listened to and address their concerns. So Mbaoni, I don't know if you're still with us. All right. While I'm waiting for him, Bwana Bob, you have to say something?
Yeah.
Okay.
First, I think it is a positive thing that the diaspora has been recognized as the county number 48. But I think it's been long overdue. It's over 10 years since the Constitution of 2010 recognized the diaspora as a constituency. It is a positive thing that finally it has happened. And I want us to take it not as a form of tokenism, but it is a right enshrined in the Constitution for our people to enjoy. And also having the ministry, I hope the ministry will be given to somebody who's diaspora sensitive and somebody who understands the importance of the investment the diaspora gives back to the country, and also recognizes the importance of the importance of the remittance that we make on a day-to-day basis. Mm-hmm. And also apart from that, I'm also praying that the embassies across the world can now make it a bit easier for our people to have access to services that they're entitled to, the ID card, the passport. I know it's been there, but probably the motion has been a bit slow, but I'm hoping that we're going to experience some changes in regards to that. And I think that's going to be the most important thing, just giving our people a chance to feel Kenyans away from home. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much and have a great evening to all of you.
All right. Thank you so much, Bwana Bob. All right, Bwana Mbui. Where are we as the diaspora? What's our role? What do we need to do?
Asante sana Bwana Arama. Mm-hmm. I don't have much to talk about the diaspora. What's our position? I've always said in several occasions that as a diaspora, we need to group ourselves together as a formation, an organized formation. The government may promise us, goodies all the time, and once they promise us that and they put it in place, what will make a difference is the people who are going to work for us. Mm-hmm. Are they going to efficiently and effectively provide services to the diaspora people? Or it's just a way of creating employment for their cronies and their relatives? So what I can say, for instance, if it was possible that we, the diaspora people, come together and form something like a circle in Kenya, like diaspora circle or something, we formalize it, and we encourage the diaspora people to start, saving, shares. Mm-hmm. For instance, if I can give you an example, most of the people who go to Saudi Arabia, they go there, they suffer, they work hard, then they send the money to their relatives back home to save for them. And once they are done, they're going back home, they find that their relatives have squandered all the money.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody was sending some shares direct to a circle, once he's back home, they will at least find some savings. As per the government, I am happy that the new president, Ruto, mentioned about the diaspora being the 48th country.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether that is going to be enacted by executive order or parliament or the Senate. I want, me, I am somebody who likes results of what somebody say. You walk the talk. And that's why I am against those people who are saying, give him a chance, give him a chance. The 100 days, he said, begin one day after his swearing in. We start counting from there. What does his actions impact Kenyans? How? Is it negative? Is it positive? We start gauging. The gauging either go up or go down. Like now about the gas, it has gone down. So if he has mentioned issues to do with the diaspora being the 48th county, if the executive order can facilitate that, we need to see him doing it like the way he did for the subsidies and for the judges.
Mm-hmm.
We need to see it happening, not just telling us and we wait for like 1 year. So that's what I can say. Another issue is that I don't have much hopes with the embassies. If the embassies were doing their job, then the people suffering in Saudi Arabia, where Kenyans are day in, day out, should not be happening. They should have already came up with the mechanisms,
mm-hmm.
hotline for the Kenyans who are there. In case of an emergency, they can make calls in an emergency call, and they can be rescued. That is why we have an embassy in Saudi Arabia. This embassy can work with the government in that country and be able to rescue a Kenyan who is in trouble, a Kenyan who is being tortured. But it's unfortunate that the embassy come in when a Kenyan is already there.
Yeah.
So these are the things which we must look at, and I will be hopeful when I see these things happening. But as much as they are not happening, we as a diaspora people, we need to come together in an organized formation and do something. We are sending over 300 billion shillings to Kenya every year. Even sometimes now, I think now it's even going up to 500 billion.
Mm-hmm.
But this, if you try to trace it, you can't get it. Maybe we are sending to relatives to buy unga and what. But about your personal growth, either you send money to your uncle, your brother, your sister, your mother, and some of them, they squandered. But if there's somewhere we send money to, and this thing is organized, there are laws. If the officers in charge squanders money, we can prosecute them. Then we are going to help many diaspora people. Once you retire from a foreign country, you have a peaceful resting place in Kenya. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Barambui. All right. Let me go to Alfred. Are you still with us?
Yeah, bado niko.
Haya. Chapa kazi bwana.
Chairman, I think the government is in order to give us an opportunity also to be represented. And my hope and wishes is that we won't be able to complain after a year or so that we are not being represented again well. We've been pushing for this, and this opportunity will be hopefully given to someone who has been here in diaspora, not sio ya kupatia vibaraka pale nyumbani wenye wamepata nafasi ya ya what do we call to kupatia mtu nafasi huko nyumbani because anafaa kupewa hiyo ofisi. We would be giving out our names for those whom we believe will guide us through. Doesn't matter if they're in Nairobi, in whatever country, so long as we believe this is an individual that is good for us and we believe in his or her leadership. We also want to say that, as Bernard said, we actually send more than 420 billion a year, and at some point we were leading in terms of those who contribute to the economy of the country.
Yeah,
we were far much ahead of agriculture and all the other aspects of those who generate into the grid of the economy of the country. So diaspora is it's a good way to invest, and I hope the government will give us opportunity to do our thing. We've seen a lot of us here struggle even to get passports, struggle even to get services. There are these websites. Many of our Kenyans here, some of them have not got an opportunity to renew their passports, and then they have got citizenship of these other countries. But when you want to renew your passport or apply for what do we call apply for to travel back home for visa, it takes a while. There are different websites which needs a overhaul and all things. Those are the things now that we will be able to tell the department that is related to us that they need to look into. Because there are two websites currently that are very contradicting. You don't know which one is which. You apply for a visa to travel to Kenya, and you get one which you pay $50, and then you get one which tells you that you have to pay $250. So both of them look very legit. Both of them you will get the visa, but one of them is a crooked one. Like I think someone is running it behind the servers. So those are the things that we would want the government to look into. We want also services to reach us. We also want, when we want to buy property, we want someone who would be our advocate there. If we want to get the lands to check if the properties are very legit, we will use that office to check for us. We will also want to register companies and things like that. We will use that those offices to fast track for us, because quite often you try to call in and it takes so much time. It takes you get frustrated. You call in once, twice, and then in a quite job and then other things. But once we have an email that we can send in, and someone would look like, oh, Alfred, send in an email, they'll be able to send you a quick response if you didn't get them on call. And many other things. At times we would want our parents to visit. Sometimes you try to call in for some fast tracking of their visas and documentation, or also even links to the other departments like the Department of Interior and Immigration. Those things work together. But when you have a ministry, you have a body that talks for you, talks a language that you really understand. And many other things that are, and of course we will use still the office to send in people who want to be investors in Kenya. We personally, I have friends who would want to invest in Kenya. We would still use the office to give them what they need. If this office for diaspora engagement also will guide us through to the immigration offices, that these friends that want to come in, what exactly do they need, and they will fast track for them on the issues that our friends and friends of Kenya want to do when they come to Kenya, and quite a number of things. I personally run an organization that we support individuals back home. So if any other Kenyans want to register, these are the office that of the diaspora engagement and affairs and migrant affairs also will tell you what exactly you want. The issue of Saudi Arabia will be addressed this office through this office. They will be telling Kenyans, these are the dangers of this area. They will be writing recommendations on, if we need this Saudi Arabia thing or not. We might be having more positives than what the negatives from Saudi Arabia, and this office will be giving us directions and giving us the advantages of Kenyans being in Saudi or not. They will also be listing, and I believe some of the countries that is safe to travel to, listing some of the places that Kenyans can work, and create networks also within these other countries. Reach out to many other countries for engagement, reach out to other countries for educational purposes and work purposes. So it is a good office that I hope many of us in diaspora will be able to connect with and of course contribute towards it. So I think it will be a good one.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I go to Doro.
Well, to me, this is exciting. I really like when we're talking about diaspora. I've been a diasporan for 27 years now. And I have a passion for RAS because we are totally misunderstood. And we still give this money. Yani tunapeana tu pesa to Kenya. Wakenya wanakuja wanatutukana. Wale watu wenye Wakenya wako nyumbani. Wanatutukana, hatupewi heshima. We try to bring programs home. Nobody's respecting us. So in the light of this, Mimi, hey, who else can support your diaspora dreams other than me? Me, I'm lobbying for the position.
Okay.
Whatever. I'm lobbying, totally. I'm lobbying, and I'm not going to make it. I'm even going to go to State House to lobby for it, because I know I can actually represent the diasporans well. The diasporans need somebody who is tough, who is going to vocalize their wants and needs bila woga yoyote. Can you imagine me sitting in Saudi Arabia trying to negotiate our jobs and what our terms are with those people? They will not play with Kenyans again. So I'm here to say I'm excited that that provision is being given to us as diasporans. And honestly, we need a tough beginning, and I will be that tough person. So you guys, some of you like me, you might want to put my name in. For me, I'm not doing it because I need a job, or I want to get paid a lot of money, or I want popularity. I just need to put a good rubber stamp on it, a good start, so that whoever takes over after me can know exactly what diasporans want and fight for it. Hatutaki mtu mwenye anakuja kudilidali. This is something that we're going to take and run with it as diasporans, because it has never been addressed before. And also other people that we will put into checks are those embassies. We will wake those embassies up, because embassies are asleep. Half the time they don't know what they're doing in these other countries where they are. Kenyan ambassadors and in most countries, sielewi wanafanya nini, unless maybe there's a reception that they want to be seen and go do. I don't get it. I don't get what they do. Actually, the only ambassador I've seen in my all the years I've been here, seen even just running around in other states and taking programs, and not just sending the other whatever they call them. Those are the people that work there to go do them. I've seen the current ambassador for the US going around to other states and talking about some programs. I've seen him very proactive. And then there's an ambassador who was there before. What was his name? Odembo.
Yeah, Odembo, yes. Odembo really tried.
Worked.
Yes.
Yeah, he tried. So other than that, ambassadors wamelalia masikio, embassies zimelalia masikio. So when we have a diaspora person who's going to hold these people accountable, the embassies will wake up, diaspora interests will be taken care of, and life will be good. So whoever is here, whoever is listening to me, hey, me, I'm lobbying. Me, Miss Ifichi. For that one, I'll lobby and put a good front for the diasporans, because I know what we need. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Doro. And thank you for offering yourself for that position. So the lobbying has begun, and we'll support you where we can. All right. Bwana Mwangi, what is our role as diaspora as we finalize, and then I'll conclude with Sam.
Diaspora, by now we know we are one of the most important people for our nation. And in our small ways, we give back home and actually it helps so much in the development of our nation. What I think is it's good. We have one central point where, as diaspora, we can air our views, our interests, and get them being heard by the powers that are by the people who are in power at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I wanted to say, some years back there was, I don't know how it's working. I've never like had like followed it up. Some years back they had created an account, I think in Central Bank, where we can remit we can save. I don't know how it worked. Maybe you guys can tell me much about that. But I remember there was a central account created in the Central Bank for diasporians. I don't know how it went, that one. Another thing, we really need representation in Parliament, because it's very important for it's very important for our issues to be presented in Parliament by someone who understands and knows the struggles of diasporians. Finally, I would like to say maybe, I don't know how in US it is, but here in Europe, Kenyans who live in, for example, I'm in Denmark, but I cannot get government services until I go either to France or Germany or Sweden. So in between, there are so many countries where Kenyans are here in Europe, but they have to spend a lot when they need to do things like renewing their passports or getting any government service. They have to spend a lot of money because they have to travel to other countries for those services.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, we registered, last time we registered for something like Huduma number, but we cannot, we were forced to do it because they created this fear in us that life will come to an end if you don't have that number, or you'll be excommunicated from Kenya and remain where you are if you don't have that number.
Yeah.
But today there is nowhere to go and ask, or nobody who can explain to people living outside the country what happened to Huduma, something like Huduma number. And finally, if we had a representation we had a office for diasporians, they will not have needed, the ministry will not have needed to send people from Kenya to come all the way to different countries in the world and spend all that money to do just biometric registrations for a number.
Mm-hmm.
You can imagine how much they spent to transport people to Europe and other countries to register Kenyans for Huduma number. It was very expensive, and that's why it's very important to have. We could have volunteered here. It was a very easy exercise to do, and people could have just registered or online, and then it's put in the data, the data would have been sent to the relevant ministry back in Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
So I think having a representation for diasporians will reduce all these wastages when it comes to matters dealing with international matters where Kenyans are. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Bwana Mwangi, and welcome, and I hope to see you again next week. Bwana Sang, give us your final thoughts on role of the diaspora.
Okay, my final remarks. Okay, fine.
Yes.
First, I think I will second Doro for what she's lobbying, and I really see that she can be able to deliver our mandate as diaspora. And so you have my vote. If we can be able to vote.
Thank you.
Okay. Secondly, these issues of diaspora as diasporans. I think first we need to champion diaspora investment under these issues, under this whole scenario that the diaspora issues has been elevated into a ministerial position. But inside this, we need to champion for the representation. So that's why Doro comes in place, because if we have someone who really understands what we are going through as diasporans and is sitting in that ministry,
yes,
I think it will be a milestone for us in terms of all these issues, and our issues will be really and fully addressed. So having said that, I think I look forward to this ministry to enhance capacity in terms of the consular, enhancing the capacity in our consular, the consular services, so that we can be able to access these basic services as required at any given point of time. So without us, having a lot of hassles here and there, when it comes to even issues like renewing of passports and all that, So I look forward to, if that one can be really tackled, then we can be able to just access those services easily in our consular offices. Then, it will be of a great impact to us. Also, another thing that I'm looking forward to in that ministry is how best we can be able to remit our money back at home without that high cost that is, we are incurring currently. And that's something that, also as a ministry, I think that ministry will work towards that, so that at least we can be able, it's so painful that, you send money and you use a lot of, it's a lot of costly to send that money back at home. And, that money could have even bought one roofing sheet, iron sheet. Yeah. So those are things that I'm looking forward to. And also, finally, I think also what I'm looking forward is to have a framework so that we can promote this diaspora participation in a national government agenda, so that we can be able to contribute. As you know, we do contribute a lot of money in terms of, in Kenyan GDP. So I look forward to, if we can be able to have that, if there's that framework, so that we can be able to actively participate into that, then it will be a great, it will be a plus for us, so that at least, we have investments here and there, champions by the ministry. Then that's a good thing. Finally, is to have a mechanism to protect our girls, especially those people who are working in this, I can call them the harsh zone countries, such as Saudi Arabia. Our problem has been the Ministry of Labor has failed to come out very clearly on this issue and tackle this problem. So it will be good for us if someone in this ministry who understands this problem can be able, so that he can be able to work on it. If it is issues that, our girls needs to be rescued in terms of, in the problems that they're going through, then it can be done real time by a person who understands. And I think that's why I say Doro, I think she can be able to deliver into that mandate. Yeah. And I would love to see her if she will be there. And then finally, maybe if this issue of National Diaspora Council can be really worked on, man, it will be a plus for us, so that this council, headed by someone who understands these things, will be able to advise government on the raft of measures that even we as diasporans are going through, and how it can be really sorted out. Because of course, we as people in diaspora, we have a solution. So we have how these things can be solved out. So I think that is what I look forward to as person who is in diaspora, And if all this can be worked in that ministry with someone, it will be, a good thing for us, and at least we'll be able to to work it out and live in a good way. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah. And I'm greeting people back at home. I think I know some of us are watching us through those platforms. Yes. We greet them. So see you again next week.
All right.
Same time.
Yes.
God willing.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your participation today, your contributions. For me, regarding the diaspora issue, Mr. President, and the people who are advising him and everybody else listening, instead of going to borrow money from China, why don't you use your diaspora people? We are remitting 400 billion shillings a year to the country, or even more.
I think in the minute, I think in this, is it Treasury? If yes. They can be able even to have a sovereign bond, done by diaspora people, we can be able to do that,
Yep, we can fund it.
Yeah, because it's one way of also investment to us. So yes. I think it will be a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's why we need someone. That's why we need someone.
That's why we need, that's why we need Doro. Yes. So we need to be specific now.
Yeah, nobody can do that. Thank you.
Yeah. So guys,
I will, seriously.
Yes, absolutely. And my guys, like we said last week, we need to start pushing for this. We need to start organizing ourselves and be heard and make it actually a reality. I'll be very proud if one of us here gets that. Doro has already offered, so we will start championing for that, and we get it to that finishing line because we need to start making that impact. On top of that, for me, even getting people who are expert. I just saw an article the other day of a diaspora guy in Saudi Arabia who is designing their train system, transportation system. That's a Kenyan. After talk about a guy in Australia doing the same thing, transportation system. Those are Kenyans. Can we start using even our own expertise, people who are contributing in other countries, and bring them back home to help us out to resolve some of these issues, to lower the cost and the expenses that people go through and make it effective in various capacities and in various areas. So guys, thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for your contributions, and my guys at the studio, as usual. I really appreciate your support and you being there for us. Let's continue this discussion again next week. One thing that I want you guys to think about that was actually missed in the proceedings in the court: what happens with our data that Smartmatics is holding and they have refused to release it? Who owns that data? Who owns your data and you don't have access to it? So that's an issue that needs to be addressed, but that will be a conversation for next week. Guys, thank you so much. And we're looking forward for the show for Sharia Wiki tomorrow. And for this time, the taco ends here. And Diaspora, thank you so much, guys. Have a great day. Good night. Good morning. Be blessed. And God bless Kenya. Thank you so much. Bye.